Y'all are gonna hate me for this one, but I just gotta say it. I regret.
Yes, I have never seen something like this. I don't know if you've seen this. The person who posted this is what he wrote. This woman regret voting for Trump, but you really have to hear the reasons why. Hmm. Sometimes when I look at people like this, I'm actually shocked. I'm confused. What is her complaint? Like, seriously? Before we even go into this video, please watch this.
It's a constitutional crisis. The Dems are saying what Doge is doing, it's a constitutional crisis. So I just have a couple questions. When back in 2020, when we were being told we had to do things by someone that we did not vote for, how come that wasn't called a constitutional crisis? When we allegedly misplaced 500,000 children, how come that wasn't deemed a constitutional crisis? When we had an invasion at our border, why wasn't that called a constitutional crisis? When we had people coming across the border that were criminals in their country coming over to our country and doing all kind of horrible things to the American citizens, unaliving people, all this stuff, taking over apartment communities allegedly, how come that wasn't a constitutional crisis? Where were the rallies and the subcommittee hearings and the lawsuits over the constitutional crisis of those things? Or were those things not constitutional crisis? Why wasn't it a constitutional crisis for the people in North Carolina and Florida and Tennessee during Hurricane Helene and all of the shenanigans that was on the heels of FEMA, allegedly? How come that wasn't a constitutional crisis? How come the wildfires and the misuse of all of the funds that went to California and allegedly the reservoirs being not filled with water and the hydrants being empty? How come that wasn't a constitutional crisis? How come there were no rallies and subcommittee hearings and lawsuits? So I just want to get clear. So Dems, come in the comments and let me know what deems a constitutional crisis. Or is it just when you're getting found out about things that you decide you want to call it a constitutional crisis, whatever it is, you want to have a rally using all kind of profanity, you want to file frivolous lawsuits, you want to call subcommittee hearings that we pay for, and you're upset because Doge is auditing where my taxpayer dollars are going and where your taxpayer dollars are going. And now the Dems are calling it a constitutional crisis. I just want to get clear on what the parameters are that sets what's a constitutional crisis and what is not. What deems them to get in front of federal buildings and rally at the top of their lungs with microphones and calling people names and saying a bunch of things that are just completely not true. I just want to be clear on what is a constitutional crisis from the Dems' point of view, because allegedly, or apparently I should say, all of the things that I just referenced were not considered constitutional crisis. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. It's a constitutional crisis. The Dems are saying,
Yes, this woman perfectly summarizes everything I had in mind. When I look through articles on Google, what I see is this. Oh, there is a constitutional crisis. Oh, this, that. Democrats are singing this like a song. We all know that this is not happening. The fact that Democrats don't want to come to their senses to realize that Republicans are doing the right thing. In fact, Trump is doing the right thing with Elon Musk. Mm, the better. When you take a look at this first lady, she put out an insane video. Watching through that clip, I could not actually grasp what she's talking about. Why she even took a decision to even put out this video online that she's regretting why she voted for Trump. It is crazy and ridiculous to even watch this video. Take a look at this.
Y'all are gonna hate me for this one, but I just gotta say it. I regret voting for Donald Trump, which, crazy enough, I never actually thought that I'd ever say, ever in my life. As somebody who is a former Democrat and a never Trumper, I obviously opened my eyes during 2020. I've been very open and honest about this. I was very, very, very liberal, voted for Hillary, voted for Obama. Didn't vote in 2020 because I didn't like JB, but I definitely was not going to vote for the orange, crazy, scary man. But over the past 4 years, I feel like I've kind of done my research and dug really far into the Republican Party. I started doing political content here on my page. And over the past 4 years, there were a lot of promises that were made. There were a lot of things that we were told that would happen once Donald Trump got into office. A lot of promises that were made to the Republican Party, to even liberals. And I just want to say that I've kind of been sitting in this for the past few weeks, since obviously he took office a few weeks ago. And I've had this really bad pit in my stomach over where I sat politically and over the vote that I cast. And I've officially come to the realization that I regret voting for Trump. I mean, there's one big promise that we were told over and over and over again that I was really hoping would hit hard. Maybe not day one when he got into office, because let's be honest, no president can do really anything on day one, at least not make laws effective that date. But we were promised it would be pretty quickly, and that right there was the right for women to work. We were supposed to get that taken away, and here I am, three weeks after he was elected. Got put into office, and I'm at work currently. Yeah, I was told that my rights were all going to be taken away. My right to vote, my right to work, my right to have to do anything. I would essentially have to ask permission to do everything. And I regret to inform you that none of that's happened, because every day I'm still waking my ass up at 4:30 in the morning to get my ass to the gym, to get my ass into shape. And then from there I have to haul ass over to my office to work my 40 to 45 hours per week to have a paycheck to live. And the liberals promised me, man. They did. They promised all of us that us women, we were going to get our rights taken away. So I was really hoping that it was going to hit hard in the first few weeks, and it still hasn't. So I just kind of regret my vote at this point, because I'm like, I'd much rather be home, having babies, taking care of kids, cleaning the house, cooking, doing laundry, spending money. And here I am. So yeah. When is it happening? Is it not happening any longer? Was I lied to?
But I want to just talk about the optics and the politics of what happened last night.
Yes, I know you were furious when you saw the beginning of this video, and what it turned out to be, this is it. These are things Democrats were pouring our Kamala Harris. Oh, Trump would do this, Trump would not allow this. These people would change their mind are suddenly realizing that they took a good decision. And Trump is doing just exactly what he promised. They have not seen a change. Trump said, I will not do this, and he is not doing that. I want to count the things Trump has done, what he promised, following just one after another. What Trump has done in office for 2 weeks. Even the Biden administration did not meet that. I know you will argue with me. I've seen people, scholars, talking about this. I'm not saying based on my experience, what I've seen, articles I've read. Some can acknowledge that this is happening. Trump is doing what nobody was even doubting. They knew that he's a man of his word. He said and he's delivering. Though some people disagree with this issue of Gaza, I don't want to touch that one, because that was not something I saw during his campaign speeches. They just came up. Now going back into this lady, what she said here made a lot of sense. This is just to open the eyes of people to see what politicians do. They will paint you red. Now, I really wanted to see people disagreeing with this lady.
How do you feel like it's been going doing the show through the Trump era?
I think it has been terrible and fun. I think I get a lot of enjoyment.
At the same time, though, when you compare what appears to be quite a bit of transparency in this new Trump administration versus the lack of transparency we received during the Biden administration, well, I mean, optically speaking, I think most Americans are going to have this sense that, you know, Trump is telling the truth.
So White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt announced that the Associated Press has been banned from the Oval Office.
As press secretary. And nobody has the right to go into the Oval Office and ask the President of the United States questions. That's an invitation that is given.
Are Black Africans. Yet only 4% of those Black Africans own the land.
Yeah. Thank you guys for with me the sharing on my videos. I don't want to make it long. If you see clips behind here, this is for the algorithm. Someone asked me, is it helping your channel? Yes, it is helping the channel. If it was not helping, I would not put.
Mind-boggling that he would be shutting down PEPFAR.
A bully and a thug who's the president of the United States, U.S., it's everywhere.
There is a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse within a system.
Audits. A chance to see what happens when you take a business approach to the government in the White House. We're seeing right now with this whole USAID thing where they're uncovering massive amounts of corruption.
And also, I got to say, don't you agree? I totally agree.
Essential.
Early on, immediately.
She's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10.
To her.
The EU does not treat the U.S. fairly on trade and that he has some big complaints. Is that true?
Right? And it doesn't mean that we should sit and pretend that it's suddenly okay, that this new presidency is just going to keep on keeping on. That is not the case. And
awful things have happened. So, and sparks move things. And it doesn't matter how much water you have.
Future president and his gag
Are quality and policy.
The city of the Pacific Palisades is burning. And, I flew here last night. I was on a plane.
You getting water to areas that need...
He's been trained his whole life to do.
What do we do?
Right now, you're looking straight. Remember it.
As a country about James.
And then I think all our tax dollars probably went for Gavin's hair gel. I don't know.
Jim Jordan.
Josh Green, the governor.
watch news or talk.
Now, look, I have a lot of...
The Democratic Party has about everything.
The next department that appears to be on the chopping block is the Department of Education. Just earlier today,
the biggest loser on Team Chiefs, literally right next to us was Taylor Swift. And then to the left was Donald Trump. Those are boos.
Well, the Super Bowl is officially under.